So, Anna, I was scrolling through social media today, right? And I saw this ad. Again, learn English in 30 days while you sleep. And I almost threw my phone across the room. I mean, come on, 30 days?
Oh my God, I hate those. It's like they think our brains are, I don't know, like a USB drive or something. Just plug it in and boom, you're Shakespeare.
Right? Shakespeare in a month. It's so fake. And that's exactly what we're digging into today on the Natural English Talk podcast. How long does it really take to learn this language? No filters, no fake promises, just the truth.
Yeah, and if you're listening right now, maybe you're on the bus or just finished a long shift or you're about to fall asleep. Look, just take a deep breath. You're in the right place.
Exactly. This is your no stress zone. We're using those core 3,000 words, the ones you actually need to survive and thrive. If you're learning English, this is for you. Just listen, let it play in the background, and don't worry if you miss a word here or there.
Seriously, it's a contract between us, okay? You relax, you listen passively while you do your life, and we'll handle the talking. Don't feel like you need to be perfect today.
Yeah, perfect is the enemy of finished, right? Or something like that. Anyway, the timing. I mean, everyone wants a number, Anna. They want to know, is it 6 months? Is it 2 years?
See, that's the problem. It's like asking, how long is a piece of string? It depends on so many things. Like, are you studying an hour a day, or are you just, I don't know, watching cartoons once a week?
True, but even then, I've seen people study for years, like 10 years, and they still can't order a coffee without panicking. And then you see someone else who does it in a year.
I think it's because people focus on the wrong learning, you know? They focus on the books, but they don't focus on the living part of the language.
I disagree a little. I think you need the books at the start, but they get addicted to the books. They use them as a shield so they don't have to go out and actually talk to humans.
The grammar shield. I love it. But yeah, we're going to break down the actual timeline today and why your fluency clock might be ticking differently than you think.
The grammar shield. Man, that is so real. I've seen people who can explain the third conditional to me, which honestly, even I struggle with, but then they can't even tell a joke at a party. So, did they really learn it?
Right, and that's where the how long question gets tricky. Are we talking about passing a test, or are we talking about, actually having a life in English? Because if you just want to pass a test, sure, maybe a few months of intense cramming will do it.
Ugh, cramming. I hate that word. It sounds like trying to stuff too many clothes into a tiny suitcase. Eventually, it's just going to burst and you'll forget everything.
Exactly. It's all about, what's the word? Consistency. I'd much rather practice for 15 minutes every single day than 5 hours once a week.
Oh, 100%. It's like the gym. You can't just go for 10 hours on Sunday and expect to have muscles on Monday. Your brain needs that daily drip. But okay, let's talk numbers, just to be those guys for a second. The experts usually say it takes, 600 to 1,000 hours to reach a good level?
Yeah, I've heard that. But think about that. If you do 1 hour a day, that's almost 3 years. If you do 5 hours a day, it's like 6 months.
See, but that's the trap. Interrupting, who has 5 hours a day unless you're like a millionaire or a student with zero hobbies? That's just not realistic. So when people hear 6 months, they think they're failing because they have a job and a family and life happens.
Totally. And that's why people quit. They hit month 3, they aren't fluent yet, and they think, I must be bad at languages. No, you're not bad, you just have a life.
Sorry, I'm not a robot, my bad. But seriously, I think the real shortcut, if there is even one, is just making English part of your downtime. Like if you're already going to listen to a podcast while you're on the treadmill, make it an English one.
Exactly. That doesn't cost you extra time, it's just shifting the environment. But I gotta ask, James, do you think some people just have the language gene? Like they just learn faster naturally?
I don't know. I think some people are less afraid of looking stupid. And honestly, I think that's the real gene. If you're okay with sounding like a 5-year-old for a few months, you're going to learn way faster than the person who wants to be perfect from day one.
So the secret to learning English is
Being okay with being a bit of an idiot?
Pretty much. It's the most underrated skill in the world. Exactly. Embrace the idiot. I mean, seriously though, think about a toddler. They don't sit there with a dictionary thinking, oh, is this the right conjugation of the verb to want? They just scream, I want cookie, and they get the cookie.
Right, they get the result. And that's the thing, they aren't translating. But okay, back to the timeline. Something people don't talk about is the intermediate plateau. You know, that place where you're not a beginner anymore, you can survive, but you feel like you haven't improved in like a year.
Oh man, the plateau. That's the danger zone. That's where most people they just give up. They feel like they've hit a ceiling. Like, okay, I know my 3,000 words, I can get by, but I don't feel fluent.
Yeah, and I think the reason is because the jump from zero to basic is huge, right? You feel the progress every day, but the jump from intermediate to advanced, it's like, it's much more subtle. It's about nuances and idioms and, catching the jokes.
See, I think the problem is that people keep doing the same things that got them to intermediate. They keep doing the apps, the little games, but that won't get you off the plateau. You got to start. So, anyway, you got to start consuming real stuff, like movies where people talk too fast, or podcasts like this where we aren't teaching.
Exactly. You have to stop studying and start living. But that's scary, though. I remember a friend of mine, she moved to London, and she told me that for the first 3 months, she'd come home every day with a massive headache, just a literal physical pain from her brain trying to keep up.
Oh, yeah, the English headache. I've heard of that. It's real. It's like your brain is actually rewiring itself. But the good news is, once the headache stops, that means you've moved. You've leveled up.
Right. But people ask, how long until the headache stops? And I'm like, well, it depends on how much you're willing to hurt. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, if you're at that intermediate level, you might feel like you're standing still, but if you're still listening, you're still moving.
Yeah, it's like a glacier. It looks like it's just sitting there, but it's actually carving out entire mountains. You just can't see it happening in real time. Glacier learning. I love that. It's slow, it's heavy, but it's unstoppable, right? But okay, Anna, let's be real for a second. There's also the burnout factor. I mean, if you're pushing yourself so hard that you start to hate the language, it doesn't matter how fast you're learning, you're gonna quit before you reach the finish line.
Oh, totally. I think that's why people always ask how long instead of how can I enjoy it. If you're just counting down the days until you're done, you're missing the point. You're never really done with a language anyway. I'm still learning new English words, and I've been speaking it since I was 2.
Right? I just learned what kerfuffle actually meant like last week. But anyway, I think the real timeline is, it's about the clicks. You know, like the first click is when you understand a whole sentence without translating. The second click is when you make a joke and someone actually laughs.
And the third click is when you realize you haven't thought about your native language for an entire hour. Those are the real milestones, not 6 months or level B2.
Exactly. But people get so obsessed with the certificates. I'd have much rather have a deep conversation with a stranger at a bar than a piece of paper that says I'm advanced.
See, I agree, but some people need that paper for their job or, to move to another country. So there's a bit of pressure there. But even then, I think people overestimate how much studying helps with the actual test. Most of those tests are just about how well you can think in English under pressure.
Which goes back to what we said. You can't learn that from a textbook. You learn that by you learn that by being in the room, like we said in the last episode, bumping into the furniture, making the mistakes.
Right. And I think the how long part depends on how many mistakes you're willing to make per day. If you make 10 mistakes a day, you're going to learn twice as fast as the person who only makes 5 because they're too afraid to speak.
So the goal is to be a high volume mistake maker. I can do that. I'm a pro at making mistakes.
We both are, James. We both are. But that's the secret sauce, isn't it? Just keeping the engine running even if it's making some weird noises.
Man, a high volume mistake maker. That's going on my resume for sure. But seriously, as we wrap this up, if someone's listening to this and they're feeling, I don't know, discouraged, like they've been at this for a year and they still feel like they're slow, what do we tell them?
Honestly, I'd tell them to look back at where they were 6 months ago. We're so bad at seeing our own progress, you know? It's like watching hair grow. You don't notice it day by day, but then suddenly you need a haircut.
That is such a good point. I mean, think about it. If you can understand even half of what we're saying right now, with our slang and our false starts and me talking way too fast, you're already doing amazing. Like, seriously. This isn't the easy version of English. This is real English.
Exactly. So if you're at the gym, or I don't know, maybe you're finally falling asleep to the sound of our voices, which, hey, no offense taken, just know that every minute you spend listening, you're shortening that how long timeline. You're doing the work without even feeling it.
Yeah, it's that passive power. So let's kill the idea of the 30-day miracle. Let's replace it with the long-term friendship with the language. It takes as long as it takes, but if you don't quit, the result is, well, it's a whole new world, literally.
Well said, James. A whole new world. And hey, if it takes you 2 years or 5 years, who cares? The time is going to pass anyway. You might as well spend it becoming a version of yourself that can talk to a few billion more people.
Man, that's deep. I think I need a coffee after that. Or a nap. But anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with us. Don't stress the clock, just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, take the pressure off. You're doing fine. We'll be here for the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
Take it easy.